Vin Diesel is widely recognised as one of Hollywood's most powerful action stars and a defining face of modern blockbuster cinema. From street racing streets to intergalactic battles, his career has helped shape some of the highest grossing franchises in film history. Yet behind the image of Dominic Toretto and other larger-than-life roles lies a personal story often described through themes of identity, belonging, and resilience. His journey is not only about fame or box office success, but also about persistence through rejection, self-discovery, and the emotional weight of loss. This rewritten narrative explores those layers in a structured and reflective way. 1. Early life and a question of identity. Vin Diesel's early life is often described as shaped by uncertainty around his biological father and a sense of incomplete origins. Raised in a household led by his mother and stepfather, he grew up without clear answers about part of his identity. This absence created an early awareness of difference, not necessarily in a visible way, but emotionally, as if something fundamental was missing. While his upbringing provided structure, it did not fully resolve the internal questions he carried. Over time, this lack of clarity about his roots became a recurring theme in how he understood himself and his place in the world. 2. Discipline. Without emotional warmth, his upbringing under a strict stepfather introduced discipline but limited emotional expression. The environment was structured and controlled, yet it reportedly lacked open displays of affection or verbal encouragement. In such conditions, resilience often becomes self-taught rather than guided. Diesel learned to navigate life by relying on internal strength rather than external reassurance. This kind of emotional environment can shape how a person processes vulnerability, often leading to silence in moments of struggle. Instead of openly expressing pain, he adapted by containing it, turning internal conflict into motivation, and building a mindset focused on endurance rather than emotional dependency. 3. A growing need for belonging. As he matured, questions about belonging became more significant than the absence itself. Without a complete understanding of his origins, he developed a strong psychological drive to find or create a sense of family and identity. This need is often reflected in how he later spoke about family in his work. The idea was not just a theme for films, but a deeply rooted emotional concept. It represented stability, loyalty, and permanence, things he felt were uncertain in his early life. Over time, this emotional need influenced both his personal worldview and the creative identity he brought into his career. 4. Entering Hollywood and facing rejection. Breaking into Hollywood presented a different kind of challenge. Like many aspiring actors, he faced repeated auditions and rejections. Reports from early in his career suggest that casting decisions often categorised actors narrowly, and he did not always fit traditional industry expectations. Rather than one defining obstacle, it was a series of small dismissals that shaped this phase of his journey. The entertainment industry's reliance on typecasting can make it difficult for emerging actors to find consistent roles. For Diesel, persistence became essential, as each rejection added pressure but also reinforced his determination to continue pursuing acting. 5. Identity and industry boundaries. A recurring challenge in his early career was navigating how the industry perceived identity. Hollywood has historically relied on clearly defined categories for casting, and actors who do not fit easily into those categories often struggle for visibility. Diesel's mixed heritage contributed to this ambiguity, making it harder for him to be placed into conventional roles. Rather than being recognised for versatility, he was sometimes viewed as difficult to categorise. This type of industry limitation does not reflect talent, but structural expectations. It shaped a period in which he had to work harder to create opportunities rather than wait for them to appear. 6. Working through survival years. Before mainstream success, Diesel took on various jobs while continuing to pursue acting. One of the most commonly mentioned is his work as a nightclub bouncer in New York. This period symbolised the contrast between aspiration and reality, standing at the threshold of entertainment while still outside its doors. During this time, he also worked on writing and developing his own projects. These efforts reflected a shift from waiting for opportunity to actively creating it. Although progress was slow and uncertain, this phase became foundational in building resilience and reinforcing the belief that persistence could eventually lead to recognition. 7. Creating his own breakthrough. Rather than relying solely on auditions, he began developing his own creative work, including independent film projects. This move marked a turning point, shifting him from passive participant to active creator. By building his own opportunities, he gained control over how he was represented on screen. Independent filmmaking required significant effort, but it allowed him to demonstrate both acting and production skills. This period ultimately contributed to his breakthrough, proving that visibility in the industry sometimes comes not from waiting for approval, but from building something strong enough to demand attention on its own. 8. Rise to global stardom. His major breakthrough came with action-driven roles that led to global recognition, most notably in large-scale film franchises. These projects elevated him into international stardom and established him as a central figure in modern action cinema. The success of these films also turned him into a producer and creative contributor, expanding his influence beyond acting alone. The scale of these franchises helped define a new era of blockbuster filmmaking, where character-driven loyalty and ensemble storytelling played a key role. This phase transformed him from struggling actor to one of Hollywood's most recognisable and commercially successful figures. 9. Loss, loyalty, and personal reflection. Despite professional success, his personal journey was deeply affected by the loss of close relationships, most notably the passing of co-star and friend Paul Walker. That event became a significant emotional moment in his life, shaping how he publicly spoke about loyalty, friendship, and family. While fame often brings visibility, it does not eliminate personal grief. This period highlighted the emotional cost of long careers built alongside strong personal bonds. For Diesel, such experiences reinforced the importance of connection, and they became closely tied to the values expressed in both his public image and storytelling themes. Outro. A story beyond fame. Vin Diesel's journey is often remembered for its scale, box office success, global recognition, and iconic roles. But its deeper narrative is rooted in persistence, identity, and emotional complexity. From early uncertainty about his origins to years of rejection and eventual stardom, his path reflects both struggle and transformation. His career demonstrates how personal experiences can shape artistic identity, and how themes like family and loyalty can emerge from lived absence as much as presence. Beyond the action hero image, his story remains one of building meaning through persistence, creativity, and the ongoing search for belonging.